Jurassic World Dominion is my least favourite Jurassic World film, but this is probably the most interesting one to talk about as far as mega-theropods are concerned, given we have the appearance of Giganotosaurus in this movie. The first shot we see of a Tyrannosaurus in this movie is the prologue scene, which didn't make it into theatres, but I thought it would still be worth talking about. Now, Giganotosaurus and Tyrannosaurus didn't live on the same continent, or even in the same bracket of time, but it's still interesting. We see both mega-predators size each other up before both start fighting, with the Giganotosaurus quickly coming out on top, killing the T-Rex. A lot of people tend to complain in saying that T-Rex would have won and that this isn't realistic because if these two species did live with each other, which they didn't, they probably would have avoided each other. One thing I think is worth noting when it comes to interactions between predators is that I think a lot of people, in response to them often being seen as mindless killers, go too far in the other direction. I remember Sharktos had said to me that Leviathan and Megalodon would have more than likely avoided each other due to the chances of severe injury, and yeah, this is true. However, it's also worth noting that you see a lot of predators in the modern day have near-lethal interactions with other predatory species. Africa is a prime example, given we see lions, leopards, hyenas, cheetahs, and crocodiles. All are very large species of predators, and all have hostile interactions with each other. Black and brown bears in North America are also known to fight with each other alongside wolves and pumas. While Megalodon versus Leviathan fights probably won't have been a common occurrence, especially given water is a more fragile ecosystem to be in than on land, it probably would have happened at least a couple times throughout geological time. The same would also apply to Giganotosaurus and Tyrannosaurus if they lived in the same ecosystem. Admittedly, Giganotosaurus probably would have stood down more often than T-Rex, given the more robust and stronger build of Tyrannosaurus, but you get the point I'm trying to make. The next section shows Rexy walking through a drive-in theatre and doesn't really kill anyone, acting more like those bears you see raiding service stations, where she's more of a nuisance than a mindless killer. This scene honestly gives me a feeling more of Rexy being like an actual animal in this tiny section of the longest Jurassic World movie, compared to 2015's installment in the series where she had a boss fight with the I-Rex. The next scene we have of Rexy is her first on-screen interaction with the Giganotosaurus, where we see them fight over a deer carcass, with Rexy finding it first, and the Giganotosaurus attempting to, and succeeding in, stealing it. The interaction is short instead of a massive action sequence, being mainly used to just establish the Giganotosaurus as being above Rexy in terms of power. This interaction, I'd say, is also a nice step in the right direction. A lot of interactions like this between predators do occur in nature. Two predators find the same meal and have a brief argument over it, but it doesn't play out like some action movie scene. I know there will obviously be people who'll comment saying Giganotosaurus would lose to Tyrannosaurus, and I am aware. I've talked about this topic in previous videos, but this isn't a full scientific breakdown of who wins or loses. This is a look at whether or not the Tyrannosaurus individuals depicted act like actual animals, and maybe I'll extend it to other dinosaurs in this series if you want me to. Please comment if you want me to. Anyway, the next scene with Rexy in this movie is of course the final battle between her and the Giga. We have Alan say that the fight isn't about our human characters, and then we see Rexy just get thrown around by the Giga until the Tyrannosaurus joins the fight. And from there, after being knocked out, Rexy out of nowhere gets this power up and proceeds to ram the Giga into the Tyrannosaurus's claws, killing it. And then both Rexy and Ferry roar in victory. This entire fight scene felt weird to watch. We went from some stuff that was a bit more animal-like and more realistic compared to previous entries, and then it gets thrown away for spectacle. The final shot of this movie with a Tyrannosaurus in it shows Rexy meeting Buck and Doe from The Lost World, which honestly doesn't have much that can be said about it beyond that it's just nostalgia bait. The most I can say is it shows social behaviour between Tyrannosaurus individuals, and that's about it. Overall, this movie started out promising in terms of the behaviour of Tyrannosaurus, then it just goes downhill with the final battle. All I have to say is that thank Raptor Jesus himself, Jurassic World Rebirth decided to not have a dinosaur fight as the big finale.